good to go? All right. We're running a little bit of multi-streams here because you know what time it is. The San Francisco 49ers have paid Deebo Samuel. Let's freaking go. Drop an SDS in the chat if you're vibing with your boy. We got it done. We made it. Oh my gosh. We made it. We freaking made it. A day before padded practices, the San Francisco 49ers cash out Deebo Samuel with a 3-year, $71.5 million extension, including 58 million guaranteed. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. If you got a chain, tuck it. If you don't got a chain, go buy one and then tuck it because Deebo's coming. Oh boy. The San Francisco 49ers are going to show up tomorrow with Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Trent Williams, Brandon Ayuk, Trey Lance, Elijah Mitchell, Charvarius Ward, Emmanuel Mosley, Jimmy Ward, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Azeez Al-Shaair, Dre Greenlaw, Javon Kinlaw. The boys are ready to go. And we got Deebo Samuel. His monies, you love to see it. It's been a long offseason, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long offseason. We all understand how we got here. We don't need to rehash the past. We all know. We lived it. We've been there. We done that. But guess what? Now we really get to have some fun tomorrow. And I can't forget Juice. How can I forget you? I always forget Juice. Can't forget Juice. Let's go. I'm hyped. I know you guys are hyped. This has been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming, but the San Francisco 49ers are able to get a deal done with Deebo Samuel before the first day of padded practice. Oh boy, tomorrow is going to be a special day to be at training camp. Can you wait to see Deebo Samuel walk out onto that field? When Deebo Samuel walks out onto that field with his helmet in hand, pads on, jersey on, oh boy. I can tell you right now, San Francisco 49er fans that are going to be in attendance at training camp is going to be straight hyped. If you're going to camp tomorrow, you better get loud when you see Deebo Samuel because it's been a long road to get here. But my goodness, we finally made it. Shout out to Kid Eric. Appreciate the super chat, my boy. He said, Brad gang, let's get it. All the teams punch in the air right now. Deebo is here to stay. 3 years, $71 million. Hey, Deebo. Let me get like $5. That's all I want. Let me get like $5. That's it. Let me hold a $5. That's it. Just let me hold a little $5 bill. That's all I want. Just $5. That's it. Could you imagine Deebo's phone right now? He probably got a whole bunch of people in them DMs and in his message. Hey, let me hold a bag real quick, Deebo. But honestly, couldn't be happier for Deebo Samuel. We got that one done. We got it locked up. And we can move on because it's been a wild ride from here from the beginning of the offseason till now. So it's absolutely fantastic that we can put this all to bed and we get to show up to training camp tomorrow with a freshly inked Deebo Samuel to a 3-year deal. Nick Bosa's next. We already know the vibes. Nick Bosa is going to break the bank as well, but today we will focus on Deebo Samuel. So it's going to be very interesting when more of the details come out, what the situation is going to look like for Deebo. I imagine, though, now that Deebo Samuel got his money, He got that guaranteed dollar amount. I don't think, hopefully, there will be too many stipulations regarding the way Deebo Samuel is used. Feels like Deebo Samuel is ready to rock and do what he needs to do to get the San Francisco 49ers some W's by any means necessary. Let's go. We got a new member of the SDS on YouTube. Shout out Chauncey. Welcome to the Sourdough Squad. Good to see you, my guy. Thank you for joining. We really do appreciate it. Love to see it. All my SDS members, give a warm welcome to Chauncey. Let's go. Welcome to the SDS. My boy. What a great day to join the Sourdough Squad. The day that Deebo Samuel gets paid all the monies. So far, based on the chat, all the chats that we're looking at, looks like everyone's pretty excited. The vibes are high right now. Looks like the vibes are lit right now. You love to see it. It's great time. Great time to be a 49er fan. You've seen all the 49ers players posting to their stories, all hyped to see Deebo get his money. Leon O'Neal Jr. posted a little clip to his story. He was like outside a hotel and like where he was staying at, and all the people in the pool were just chanting Deebo, Deebo. Like, it's pretty cool, man. I feels like that's the vibes around here. Feels like we're ready to go. And guess what? We're slowly getting the boys back. We got Trent Williams back. We got Mike McGlinchey back. We're getting Javon Kinlaw back. Now Deebo Samuel's getting back. Now, shout out to defense, all right? Shout out to defense. Defense has been looking really good in training camp. Defense has been looking like a top unit in the NFL. Is one of the things that we keep talking about, right? Defense looking good. Defense looking solid. But now, guess what, defense? We appreciate your efforts so far. First 4 days of training camp, defense. Fred Warner, Charvarius Ward, Emmanuel Mosley, Nick Bosa, Javon Kinlaw, all the boys, Jimmy Ward, all the boys. Looking real good on defense. Well, guess what, defense? Trent Williams is going to get more reps. Deebo Samuel is going to get more reps. Brandon Ayuk, stonks to the moon. Juwan Jennings, Ray McLeod looking fire. You got Danny Gray out there making some beautiful catches, showing off that speed. The pads start popping tomorrow. And we're going to see. Oh, we're going to see. I can't wait, defense. Defense been doing real good. We're going to tip our cap to the defense. I'm admittedly an offensive guy. But guess what, defense? You better strap those chin straps a little tighter, baby. Deebo Samuel's coming to town. Oh, boy. I really hope Deebo puts on the pads. It would be just a phenomenal thing to see. Shout out Jesse Wade. Shooting the boy a $20 super chat. Appreciate you, my guy. He says, let's go, SDS. Deebo got the bag, baby. The storm is brewing, faithful. Oh, you guys better get in your bunkers. You better get in your bunkers because the storm's coming. And the storm is brewing in Santa Clara. Ooh, let's freaking go, baby. I'm so hyped right now. It's been a long-ass offseason. It's been wild as hell. But we got Deebo paid. Deebo getting all the monies. And hopefully we get to see Deebo Samuel lining up out there in training camp. Would absolutely be phenomenal to see Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, all on the same field at once. The Yak Bros reunited would be absolutely phenomenal. Oh, boy. We did it. We made it. We made it. We were waiting there for a second. We were waiting. We were like, ooh, getting down to the wire. Pads are coming on tomorrow. Is it going to happen? It happened. And you love to see it. My guy Salvador dropping the super chat, drop the Deebo chant. Oh, bro, if you guys are going to be at training camp tomorrow, I'm going to be at training camp tomorrow. If you guys are going to be at training camp tomorrow, we got to do the Deebo chant. If you guys are going to be at, if you are going to be at training camp tomorrow, we got to do the Deebo chant. Deebo, oh, Deebo, oh, Deebo, oh, man. If we get Deebo coming out onto the field and we get everyone in the stands stomping their feet on those metal seats that we all sit on, and we just drop the Deebo. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Bro, that the first thing that Deebo Samuel comes out to at 49ers training camp is all the fans just straight up chanting the war chant. The Deebo war chant. Oh, boy, I'm hyped. Let's go. We got the boy locked up for 3 more years. You look at the 49ers, the way they have been able to construct this, the offense specifically. You start with the best left tackle in the game. You guys know me. I will make the argument that Trent Williams is the best player in football. I will make that argument, and I will stand tall, and I will puff my chest out, and I will say Trent Williams is the best football player in the entire league. But you can also make the argument that George Kittle is one of the, if not the best players in the NFL. Deebo Samuel, you can make the argument that he could be the best player in the NFL. Kyle Juszczyk. Show some love for Kyle, baby. Because that man's different. Fullbacks are people too. The 49ers have the best middle linebacker in the league. Nick Bosa is going to be trending upwards to being the best defensive player in the league. Like, this is a fun time to be a San Francisco 49er fan. It is a fun time to be a San Francisco 49er fan. And tell him, Ego, appreciate the super chat. My boy says, I can buy my Deebo jersey now. Yes. If you have been waiting and just wondering, now is the time. You officially have the green light to go buy a number 19 Deebo Samuel jersey. Get the stitched letters, get everything. You can go do it because Deebo Samuel will be a San Francisco 49er for 3 more years minimum, barring no craziness. That is a good sign. Get your money while you can. And if you want to compare Deebo Samuel and his contract to other contracts of other wide receivers, A.J. Brown got about $40 million guaranteed. DK Metcalf got about $31 million guaranteed. So the fact that Deebo Samuel is sitting at a hefty $58.1 million guarantee tells you exactly what you need to know about how the San Francisco 49ers value Deebo Samuel. This dude got paid almost nearly $20 million more guaranteed, essentially double what DK Metcalf got in guarantees. That should tell you right there, hey, follow the money in the NFL. This is a business. They tell you it's a business, follow the money. And the money tells you that the San Francisco 49ers value Deebo. And it's just good to see. It's good to see when you see it stacked up against the other contracts, because we know Deebo, who knows what goes on behind the scenes. We're not going to speculate about what goes on behind the scenes. But we know what the outcome was, and I am just happy to see that Deebo got what he is deserving of. He got the money. Like, I don't think any fan, and you'll see fans, they'll watch the pockets, they'll watch the contracts, but oh, overpaid him. You hear people talk about Trent Williams getting overpaid, those types of things. I don't think any one of us is sitting here right now, today, saying that Deebo Samuel got overpaid. I think we're all looking at this contract and, and we're saying this should have happened a couple months ago, if we're being honest. If we're being honest, Deebo probably should have got this contract a couple months ago. So I don't think any of us are too concerned about the money that's paid out to Deebo right now. I think we're pretty damn excited about it. Cash the God, appreciate the super chat. Member of the SDS here on YouTube says the best is yet to come with Deebo Samuel. This is what I'm so excited about. Oh, we got another new member to the SDS. Shout out Peyton Miller for joining the SDS. The Sourdough Squad has a new member. You already know the vibes. All my SDS in the chat. Welcome one of the new goats to the SDS squad. Shout out Peyton. Appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you, my guy. But one of the things that I think we can look forward to, say what you want about how this situation came down, how it happened, all that type of stuff. If there's anything that we can look at right now, I think Deebo Samuel is more motivated than ever. I think Deebo Samuel right now is more motivated than ever to get out onto that field and perform, produce, and execute. Not only for him, I think there's a lot of doubters that sprung up along the way. Based on the situation goes, and if I was able to talk to Deebo, hindsight being what it is, we'd be like, probably don't, do the social media stuff, but that's beside the point. But we know what the outcome was. It created a lot of people to doubt Deebo, doubt his worth, doubt his value to the 49ers. You guys know I'm out here on YouTube right now, over here on Instagram. We talk. I talk a lot. I talk with the fan base every day. A lot of people, there's a lot of people who question Deebo Samuel's value to this team. And I think Deebo saw that. You know why? Because we got a vocal ass fan base. You're going to comment on his stuff. We're going to Deebo knows. Deebo heard it all. Deebo heard it all. So say what you want. At the end of the day, I think Deebo Samuel is a very prideful man. And I think when that whole situation went down and he saw some of the reaction from the fan base, I think his pride might have been engaged a little bit. And I think Deebo has a lot to prove. I think Deebo, of course, got his contract, got the money that he is deserving of, but I think Deebo has a lot to prove. I still think Deebo heard all the chatter when it was, oh, we got to pay Deebo as a top wide receiver. Oh, well, he's not even a wide receiver. He's not even a wide receiver. He's a running back. We heard that from 49ers fans. Oh, he's a running back. He's not even a good wide receiver. We can't pay him as a wide receiver. He heard that. He saw that. I think Deebo Samuel is going to literally come for blood next year. I think Deebo Samuel is going to go crazy. Like, so I got to see Deebo on the side field at 49ers practice, running sprints. I could not believe how fast he was moving. I was like, this dude is cooking. And I know Deebo Samuel's fast. I know Deebo Samuel's a great athlete. But Deebo was cooking off to the side. And you know Deebo. Deebo runs with emotion. He runs angry. He runs like you're not going to take him down. And I think more than ever, I really do believe more than ever that is going to be on full display. I really feel like all the chatter for months, then the fans wanting to I guarantee you, just because Deebo got paid, I don't want you to think that just because he got paid, oh, he's going to be all good now. Nah. A lot of people question his ability this offseason. And I think he's going to come out and he's going to destroy people. And I'm looking forward to it. Because guess what? This is the San Francisco 49ers. This is what we do here. We rock with the San Francisco 49ers. That is all of our team. And guess what we want? We want that 6th mother ring. We want that ring. We got players on this team who deserve rings. Everyone. Now's the time. Now is the time to get after it and get a championship. Justin says, how much this year will he get? Not positive on that. I believe that is a question about contract structure. I'm not positive, Justin. If that's what you're asking, feel free to clarify. Oh, Brad Gang, Tony, dropping the baguettes in the chat. You'll love to see it. Black Caesar says, please make the Deebo chant a thing. Oh, I think it's a thing. I think the Deebo chat is already a thing. We had legendary senior manager of the 49ers, Nick Clark. They broke out the Deebo chant in LA. So the Deebo chant, I think, is already a thing, but we got to keep it rocking. We got to keep it rocking. We got to keep it rolling. Let's go. We got another new member of the SDS. Shout out Jacqueline Knox. Appreciate you, family, for joining the SDS. We got another new member of the Sourdough Squad. Drop another welcome to all my existing sourdough squatters. Let's go. We up. Deebo's getting paid. We're to the moon, baby. Shout out, Jacqueline. Thank you for joining. We really do appreciate it. Appreciate all the support from all the SDS. And you guys already know the vibes out here on YouTube. Smash that like button. Wait. Don't just smash that like button. Don't just smash that like button. Deebo that like button. Let's freaking go. Run through its face. Smash that like button. Let's get this thing to the moon. Freaking love it. Shout out to all the new SDS members. You love to see it. You love to see it. Shout out IG. I'm not forgetting about you, IG. So this is a question. But is Deebo going to be wide back? I'm going to go ahead and say this. Deebo Samuel with $58 million guaranteed, depending on the stipulations and language within the contract, that's always going to tell us exactly what we need to know. Just like Kyler Murray had stipulations that he had to have 4 hours of study time a week in his contract, there could be stipulations in his contract that would determine whether they use Deebo in a wide back role or not. We'll find out. But what I do believe is that when the rubber meets the road and the San Francisco 49ers need to get a W, Deebo Samuel will literally play quarterback if he needed to. Deebo Samuel will literally do whatever it takes. He's got his money now. So that's the hope. That's the hope, is that before Deebo had his money, he was willing to put the entire team on his back and help carry them to the NFC Championship. Okay, now he's got his money. We got our man his paper, 58 million in the bank. All right, Deebo, let's go win. Now let's put all the wide back conversation. Is he a wide receiver? This, that, and the other thing. Who cares? Let's go win. That's, I think, now the new focus for the San Francisco 49ers and Deebo Samuel. He got his money. 58 million over 3 years. He's going to have an opportunity for another contract, which is part of the beauty of the 3-year contract, is Deebo Samuel will be having an opportunity to get one more big payday. So let's take advantage of this time that we have. Let's take advantage of Deebo Samuel, and let's go freaking win some rings. Let's go win some rings. Like, that's the vibe now. That's the vibe now. I think Nick Wagner. Again, I talked about this before. Nick Wagner of ESPN, in one of his training camp notes, and listen carefully. Listen carefully to this one. In Nick Wagner, probably one of my favorite 49ers beat reporters, in one of his, he did a thread on Twitter from some of the notes from training camp. And the very last note, he talked about how the San Francisco 49ers came together at the end of practice and they broke down the team, and they didn't say family. They didn't say team. They said championship. They said frickin' championship. And that is the vibe. Deebo Samuel gets his paper, and now let's get back to hunting that ring down. Whoo! I'm so hyped. Don't think for 1 second that they're not focused on winning a championship. This team knows what they have. This team knows exactly what they have. You get Deebo Samuel, you pay him the money that he deserves, $58 million, and now we go chase a ring. And again, this doesn't have to be on the shoulders of Trey Lance getting his first full real-time starting. Guess what? Put it on the shoulders of Deebo Samuel. Put it on the shoulders of Trent Williams. Put it on the shoulders of George Kittle. Put it on the shoulders of Kyle Juszczyk. Put it on the shoulders of Brandon Ayuk. Put it on the shoulders of Fred Warner. Put it on the shoulders of Nick Bosa. Put it on the shoulders of Charvarius Ward, Emmanuel Mosley, Jimmy Ward. I'm about to turn up. I'm about to freaking turn up. I want that ring. And this team knows. This team knows what they have. And they aren't arm fatigue. Get out of here. This team has an elite defense. Elite weapons on offense everywhere. Quit focusing on Trey Lance. Trey Lance is the least of our problems right now. We got dogs barking, ready, hungry. And I know Deebo's hungry. Again, yeah, Deebo got paid. Yeah, Deebo got all his money. But that, I swear, I feel like I know. I don't know Deebo. I don't know him personally. I don't know none of that stuff, right? But you guys know I like to evaluate. I like to look from afar. I don't think Deebo was happy with this offseason. Even now, I bet you, I know Deebo's happy that he got paid and he got his money, but I think Deebo's got so much to prove because guess what? He went from being regarded as the guy who could do no wrong to half the fan base trying to trade him and tell him he's not a wide receiver. So you get Deebo, you get him the security for his family that he deserves, and now he can go play ball. Now he can put that behind him and focus on a ring. And I really do believe we're going to get the best Deebo. I think we saw last year and we're like, oh, we got the best Deebo last year. And people are like, how is he going to replicate that? How is he going to duplicate that? Well, you piss him off for an entire offseason. You piss Deebo off for an entire offseason. That's how you do it. That's how you replicate it. That's how you get more production is you piss him off for an entire offseason. Team, fan base, random fans, doesn't matter. You pissed him off. I think he's pissed. I swear to you, I think he's pissed. I don't know. Again, I don't know. I don't know Deebo. I don't have conversations with Deebo. I have no idea. But if I had to take a step back and just look at this man, look at how this offseason went, I swear this dude's pissed. Even now, like he got paid, but he's like, I still got a lot to prove. So I'm pretty excited about it. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I think we're just getting started. I think we're just getting started. I think there's going to be completely different energy at training camp tomorrow. I think there's going to be, again, I hope Deebo practices. I don't know, but I think he practices. And if he does, oh goodness, we turning up, baby. We turning up. And I feel like the whole team is gonna vibe off that. And you get like I hope Kyle, if you're listening, I know you're not, but Kyle, I'm gonna pretend like Kyle's listening right now. Kyle, the first play of team period better be to Deebo Samuel. If Deebo's at practice and he's ready to go, very first play of team period better be designed for Deebo Samuel. Just for the culture, just for the vibes. Like, please. Just please get us hyped. Get us hype. Shout out my guy Cheeky for the $10 super chat. He says, "Hey man, I'm gonna butcher your name. My apologies. Is it Chike Unhuke?" Butchered your name. All respect to my guy. He says, and the 49ers are smart not to litter down extensions, unlike the Cleveland Browns and Arizona Cardinals, giving $500 million to quarterbacks that have done nothing. No, they gave it to Deebo Samuel, a guy that is deserving of this money. Shout out my guy. Apologize if I absolutely butchered your name, but that tends to happen around here on this channel. But I appreciate you. Appreciate the super chat, my guy. And right now, 49ers are sitting good. They're sitting pretty. They're sitting in a place with an opportunity to do a lot of damage. So I'm really excited about it. But I want to kind of hear from you guys. So if you guys have any comments, questions, thoughts on the particular deal that was made, drop them into the chat. I want to hear from you guys. I know you don't want to hear from me talk the whole time. So if you guys have any comments, questions about the Deebo Samuel signing, feel free to drop it in the chat. Shout out Michael. Appreciate the super sticker, my guy. Shout out everyone. Shout out all the SDS in here. We're vibing today. Make sure you Deebo that like button too. Make sure you Deebo that like button. Someone tell me how many likes we're at. Someone tell me how many likes we're at. Let's see. What did someone say? Who do you think will have the advantage in training camp with pads on and Deebo back? Ooh, I'm excited. See, you guys will listen to me until I'm blue in the face, tell you that training camp is it's you take everything with a grain of salt because there's no pads. We know this game is a physical game, especially for the trenches, and you need pads. So offensive line is always at a disadvantage with no pads. But now you get the pads back on. You got Trent Williams back. You got Mike McGlinchey back. Now with pads on, and then of course you add Deebo Samuel back into the mix with Brandon Ayuk. Now I think we're gonna cook a little bit. Now where it has been heavily in favor of the defense for the most part. Defense has been lights out at training camp. Lights out. But guess what? Reinforcements are on the way. Deebo Samuel is on the way. Trent Williams, Mike McGlinchey are on the way. And let me tell you, the 49ers need both those guys on that offensive line. One of the biggest noticeable changes from yesterday's training camp was the very first snap of team period. And when you saw Mike McGlinchey and Trent Williams in there was a beautiful pocket. And Trey just stood there and he let one rip right over the middle to Jawan Jennings for a beautiful completion. And that was a big difference. A big difference from last season. Or I'm sorry, the days before. Because let's face it, that defensive line is really good. So when that defensive line is really good and they have the advantage of going against offensive linemen with no pads, whoo, boy. Now the tables are going to even out a little bit. Now I think training camp is going to be real fun. Oh boy, I can't wait. I can't wait. Mason says this team is really effing good, dude. I'm so hyped. People spend too much time talking about the quarterback, and I get it. And they forget how good this team is. They forget how good this team is. Yes, pads and Deebo. Pads and Deebo. So, to this question from Jay, I don't know if it's going to be an advantage. I think it's going to even out a little bit more. I think with training camp kicking off with pads, with Deebo back, with Trent back, Mike McGlinchey back, I feel like it's going to even out a little bit. So that's going to be the biggest things that we're looking for tomorrow. That's going to be the biggest things. And like I said, it feels like I'm juiced already. I can imagine that everyone else is juiced here. And if you're going to training camp tomorrow, you're going to be just as hyped. So the hope is that, hey, if you're a 49er fan and you're going to be in the stands at training camp tomorrow, you bring that juice. And the hope is that team comes out with juice. I can only imagine. I can only imagine the reception that Deebo's going to get. I really feel like Deebo's one of those types of players. And if you've played football or you've played any sport, If you've played any sport, it does not have to be football, but you've been around one of those guys that just has the juice. And when they have the juice and they're feeling it, it's like it spreads to everyone else. And you're getting Deebo Samuel back, paid, no questions asked, no more fighting, no more haggling, no more negotiating. Deebo Samuel got paid. It's time, defense. It's time. I know you guys had the upper hand. Listen, I know I'm going to talk to the 49ers defense real quick. As an offensive guy, I am admittedly an ultra biased offensive guy, played offensive line my whole life. I'm a biased offensive guy. So defense, I'm talking to you. You guys have gotten the better of the offense the last 4 days in training camp, but I know you've been seeing that offense start to tighten up a little bit. Well, now y'all better get ready because I think the offense is going to be able to bring it to the defense. And I want to challenge the defense to keep up that high level of play. Hey, guess what? We're going to get Deebo back. We're going to have Ayuk out there. We're going to have Kittle out there. We're going to have Elijah Mitchell out there. We got Trey. We got Juice. We got the O-line. And we got pads. A little bit more even now. Let's see what you can do, defense. Can you keep it up? Can you keep up the pace? any 49ers defensive player right now is like, this guy. But that's just how hyped I am. I'm looking for competition tomorrow. I'm looking for competition. I hope with Deebo Samuel back, with pads on, like you can sense energy from practice. If you've played football, there are days when you're flat, there are days when you're flying around. I hope that tomorrow's a day where this team is flying around on both sides of the football, all of it. I hope we show up tomorrow and the reports that come out of training camp are electric. Absolutely electric. That's what I'm looking for. And I hope that Deebo brings that juice. I think he's one of those types of players. There's a reason Deebo Samuel leads the 49ers out onto the field with Trent Williams for every game because he's one of those players. He's got the juice. Now he's got the check. He's got the bag. And I think the juice is ramped up even more than it was. So I'm really excited. Am I just thinking like that because Deebo? No, I'm thinking like that because it's pads, and I'm thinking like that because it's Deebo. There's multiple things, but I think the Deebo side of things, I think when you take a step back and you try to put yourself in these players' shoes, especially in a locker room where football isn't like college, like pro football isn't like college football, right? Like when I think of college football, you think of unity, camaraderie, all that type of stuff, us versus them. But at a certain point, there is a side of football where the business becomes the priority. And in business, sometimes you can become at odds with your own employer and things can kind of spiral or things can go in a bad place or things can go in a negative direction. And who knows, I'll be one of the first to talk about when I said I want Deebo Samuel to get paid because I don't want this cloud hanging over Deebo throughout the year of him playing on his rookie deal. I really did not want to see that because I felt like that could have kind of trickled down into the locker room. Well, now this has the adverse effect. Now the locker room sees they paid Deebo and they paid Deebo well what he was worth. And I think that will bring extra juice. I think that will kind of like lift that one thing. Again, these players are constantly asked about Deebo. They're constantly like, so what have you heard about Deebo? What's Deebo been up? Those types of things. That doesn't have to happen anymore. Now they get to talk about Deebo getting paid. Now they get to talk about Deebo getting what he's deserving of. And that, I think, just in of itself is an energy shift. And so I think that will translate to practice. I think that will translate to the offense. I think when you do get Deebo Samuel rocking in that huddle, the whole team's gonna the whole huddle's gonna look around and be like, all right, we're cooking now. We're cooking now. Bro, I have a serious question. Does this 3-year contract mean that Deebo will be with San Francisco for this season and 3 more seasons after that? I'm pretty sure it's 3 seasons including this season. It's actually a good question, but I'm pretty sure it's 3 starting now. I do know he'll be a free agent when he's 29. So Deebo at 29 will be up for another contract, which is also beneficial for Deebo because that will give Deebo an opportunity at one more big paycheck. So still a lot of incentive for Deebo to come out and perform at his highest level because he can get another contract based on the timing of this one. So I do like that part of it. I actually do like that it's a smaller deal. J Tan said, Brad, you forgot to mention that Jimmy's still on the roster. I think we know that. I think we know Jimmy's still here. We saw Jimmy. We saw Jimmy yesterday at practice. That was kind of crazy. That was kind of crazy to see Jimmy off to the side with everyone else. It's pretty crazy. Let's see. What is my honest opinion on Trey? My honest opinion on Trey is, again, the same exact things that I said before training camp. Trey Lance has the tools, the intangibles, the skill set, the cerebral ability, the maturity to be a good quarterback. But he needs reps. He needs experience. He just needs time. And what we're kind of seeing is him kind of go up and go down, up and down. My biggest thing from Trey that I love to see, hey, what's good, Buffalo Fanatics? Biggest thing that I love from Trey is that if he's made an interception or if he makes a bad pass, he does not waver. He comes back and he delivers. Just like yesterday, he threw a pick to Fred Warner over the middle of the field, right to him. Like it was like gift wrap, right to Fred Warner. And he had beautiful protection. He had all the time in the world to threw a pick to Fred Warner. Then he came right back, very next play, and delivered a dart over the middle, about 15 to 20 yards on an in-breaking route to Brandon Ayuk in between coverage and just put it on him with confidence, with just zip on the ball. And that's what I like. That's what I like from Trey Lance. He is going to get better. He is going to improve. He is going to continue to get better. And the biggest thing with Trey is watching the bounce back moments, watching when he does make mistakes, and he needs to make mistakes. And I hope people understand that. In training camp right now, you want Trey Lance throwing interceptions. You want Trey Lance to make mistakes so that he can learn from them now and he can improve on them and start to log those things into his basically cerebral bank of like, hey, I made a mistake here in this moment. This is how I'm going to improve and ensure I don't make this mistake again. And that's why what we say he needs reps. That's what it is. You guys all saw the play. Y'all saw that beautiful throw to Brandon Ayuk against that right sideline on Charvarius Ward. Charvarius Ward had phenomenal coverage on the play. Charvarius Ward had phenomenal coverage, and Trey Lance put it 45 yards downfield against the right sideline. And Ayuk went and snagged it. I know you guys saw that. I know you saw that. That is what he is capable of. It's doing the repetitions, the consistency that's going to come with reps. He's capable of making all the throws. It's getting it down with the timing and consistency within the structure of the play, getting used to having, pressure in his face, working through the pressure, knowing when to throw it, knowing when to run. Just like anything else, you go to your job, you go to anything that you do, you want to work out, you want to get in shape. The best way to see results is to consistently do something over and over and over again and continue to improve on it. That is where Trey Lance is. He has the entire ceiling. He has the entire bag of skills at his disposal. He just needs the repetitions. And so that's why when people are freaking out, if he throws a pick or does this, it's like, oh, that's fine. Especially with the defense that he's going up against. This defense is elite. So I think the 49ers are going to be in good shape with Trey. So I'm really excited about it all. Let's see. We got a couple super chats coming in here. I think this is a new one. Maybe. I don't know. Shout out, Michael. Appreciate the super sticker. We got another super chat here from Chauncey, who joined the SDS today. Says, been following you for years on Facebook, bro. By far the best team reports, updates, and great content. Keep up the great work. Shout out, Chauncey. Shout out, Chauncey. Appreciate you joining the SDS today, my guy. Let's go. Shout out, Chauncey. Legend. Love it. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support. Appreciate everyone who vibes with us over here. Someone said super chat. Yeah, I'm streaming on YouTube as well. So we're over here on so people send super chats, and the super chats are greatly appreciated. We really, really do appreciate it. But shout out Chauncey. Join the SDS today on YouTube and dropping super chats and dropping great compliments. Appreciate you, my guy. Absolutely appreciate that. Need to get to that one a little quicker. Jesse Wade says, so to the question from someone over here on Instagram. Shout out my guy Jesse. I'm not a contract wizard. That's definitely not my area of expertise. But Jesse Wade says this is a 3-year extension, but he's 4 years under contract. So my understanding is that because Deebo's still on the last year of his rookie deal, that that counts as a year towards his eligibility under contract, correct? So it's a 3-year extension, but 4 years under team control. So that's good to know. Shout out, Jesse. Appreciate that, my guy. Let's go. I know you hyped, Joey, because I'm hyped too. What a great time to be a 49er fan. And make sure you Deebo that like button. What are we at our likes, by the way? We at to 200 yet? We got 300 and we got about 350. We got about 350 over here on YouTube. We got like 50 over here on Instagram. We should be able to be at 200 on YouTube. I don't know. You tell me. Where are we at? Shout out to SDS on Instagram. Let's go. Sourdough Squad's lit. It's a good day. It's a good day. I'm happy. I hope you guys are happy. I hope you guys are fulfilled. It feels like we're getting closure on a lot of the off-season shenanigans. It feels like we're finally getting closure on a lot of the offseason shenanigans that have been going on this year. That if you are a 49er fan that is like super into it, like me, and like you if you're watching this stream, and you want to know everything that's going on with the 49ers, then you would understand that this has been a long offseason. And it feels phenomenal to finally get some closure to the Deebo saga. Like, guys, it's over. We did it. We made it. The Deebo saga is over. The man is paid. Let's go win some rings. Someone said, what's my YouTube channel? It's the SF Niners. The SF Niners on YouTube. Come over, make the great migration over to YouTube if you care, if you please. If you please. But we are over here rocking on YouTube. Definitely. Let's see. I want to see. What are we at with the likes situation? Oh, we're at 181 likes. We're at 181 likes on YouTube. We can get to 200. We can get to 200. Get us to 200 SDS. If you're watching on YouTube right now, go smash that like button. Get us to 200. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. SDS merch on the way. You already know. I got to drop that. I got to drop that SDS merch. We got to get the Sourdough Squad to the moon. Let's go. We got people migrating over. Let's go. We got people from Instagram migrating over to YouTube. You love to see it. If you are migrating from Instagram to YouTube, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you hit that sub button on your way over, and boom, just like that, we're already at 200. Let's go. Let's go. What's good, Harris? Let's go. It's a good day. Good Sunday. And guess what? We get practice tomorrow in pads. We get pads tomorrow. I can't tell you how excited I am. I'm not going to lie. It's phenomenal. It was phenomenal getting to training camp. But after a while, you're like, "Ooh, I want some pads. I want some pads. I want to hear some popping." And we get it tomorrow. Let's go. My guy says, "I'm now officially following you on all platforms." Let's go. Shout out all the real ones who follow on every platform. If you're following on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, I don't know about Twitch, but if you're following on the other ones, we see you. Corey says, "Hey, Brad, did Donovan West get any quality reps last week?" So Donovan West has been running with the third team. And again, I try to keep most of my offensive line observations until pads come on, because you can evaluate certain things with the offensive line. You can evaluate how they're moving. You can evaluate certain techniques and things like that. But ultimately, as an offensive lineman, you need pads. You need to be able to be physical. You need to be able to throw your shoulder, kind of use your head and helmet and your shoulder behind you to be able to do a lot of things for the offensive line. So with Donovan West, he's been working primarily as the third string center. Donovan Poe has been working, or not Donovan Poe, Jason Poe has been working primarily at guard. So we'll see what happens with Donovan West. Right now, the three centers that I've seen primarily are Donovan West, Daniel Brunskill, and Jake Brendel. So we'll see who ultimately wins the spot. And we'll see if Donovan can crack the active or if he will be a practice squad player. We'll find out. But it's going to be a fun thing to watch with training camp around the corner. Definitely looking forward to it. I cannot wait. Because tomorrow's going to be the best day. Tomorrow's going to be the best day because we get the pads and they're going to be popping. What position is Nick Zakel playing? He's playing guard. So he's been on running guard with the second and third team. So we'll see. I think the offensive line is going to start kind of falling into shape a little bit more now that pads are getting on. And this is when things are really going to ramp up. So I'm looking forward to it. Tomorrow's going to be a good day. So make sure you guys are locked in tomorrow for after camp updates because we are definitely going to be doing a live. You know, we're going to be posting all the stuff. We are going to be posting all the stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We get real practices tomorrow. Like we've gotten a nice little taste, but now that pads are coming on, it's going to be a lot of fun. Pads are the great equalizer. Let me tell you. Again, I've seen it since when I played. I've seen it. You know, this is going to be. I've been to a lot of training camps. This will now be my second training camp actually covering the team. The pads are a great equalizer. A lot of guys can look good without pads, but you put the pads on and you get a little bit physical. A lot of things can change very quickly. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. Really looking forward to tomorrow. If you guys have any questions, comments that you want to get in here before we wrap this thing up, I got to get some sleep. I was on the move today when the Deebo Samuel news broke. All kinds of stuff going on. But I'm excited to get to camp. And again, if you guys have any last questions, comments about the news today, feel free to drop those in. We got one on IG that says, do you think Bosa will have a short-term contract extension like Deebo, or do you think he gets a king term extension? I think you meant long term, but I like the king term extension. I think he's going to get a king's ransom. I think Nick Bosa is going to get paid like a quarterback. I think Nick Bosa is literally going to break. I think Nick Bosa is going to break records with his contract. I think he could potentially be one of the highest paid players, I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Bosa is the highest paid non-quarterback player ever. Obviously, quarterbacks are getting upwards of like $40 million a year. I'm not going to be surprised if we're talking $30 million plus on average a year from Nick Bosa. So when it comes to Nick Bosa getting paid, I'm going to go ahead and say Nick Bosa is probably going to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. He's going to get paid. He's going to get a lot of money. For sure. So, and it'll probably be a longer term deal. I would imagine it's going to be like a 5-year, something crazy. He's going to get some crazy money for sure. Yes, sir. We got people from Facebook migrating over. Let's go. YouTube is the vibe, but appreciate everyone if you're watching on any platform. But we do appreciate the vibes on YouTube for sure. So appreciate everyone migrating. You love to see it. Harris says, we seeing Deebo next week. That's lit against Charmander West and that elite defense. Charmander West, definitely inside joke to the page, aka Charvarius Ward. I think that's going to be a fun matchup. We've seen Charvarius Ward against Brandon Ayuk. It's been a fire matchup. I think another good matchup that we're going to see is going to be Deebo Samuel versus Charvarius Ward. Someone said this team already gives me 2019 vibes, but better with an improved offense. I agree, man. I think people forget that Jimmy Garoppolo was, he was coming off an ACL injury and he had never played a full season before. Now he had way more time in the league, obviously played behind Tom Brady. But again, the San Francisco 49ers won early in that season with defense and special teams and running the football. The 49ers are built that same exact way. And if they continue to win with defense, win with special teams, and win with running the football and allow Trey to cook in those moments that we need Trey to cook and not put it all on Trey's shoulders, the San Francisco 49ers definitely resemble the 2019 San Francisco 49ers. And you got a lot of the same guys, a lot of the same core pieces on that 2019 season. King Geo says, "What's up with Big Huff?" Huff's been looking good, man. Huff's been looking good. I really like his play style. I like the way that he is all over the place. You're already seeing him uh, demonstrate leadership ability out there. He's out there coaching up the younger guys already, getting them into the right spot when he's not in. But when he is in, you're seeing him get pass breakups. You're seeing him get interceptions. And that's one of the things with Huff. He's just a cerebral he's extremely smart. And he's going to put himself in position to make plays. And we're seeing that early in training camp. Tarvarius Moore had 2 interceptions yesterday. Tarvarius Moore had 2 interceptions yesterday in training camp. And that was good to see because we didn't know. We didn't know if Tarvarius Moore was going to be able to keep off the dogs and Leon O'Neal Jr. or Taylor Hawkins. But Tarvarius Moore had a really big day at training camp yesterday. So we'll see how that continues to progress. We will see how that continues to progress. Jesse Perez says, "How is Alfredo Gutierrez doing? Make the roster?" I don't know. I don't know if Alfredo Gutierrez is going to make the roster again. There's a log jam when it comes to offensive line. They typically only carry 8 offensive linemen, and when you count the numbers up, Alfredo just feels like he's on the outside. I would not be surprised to see Alfredo on the practice squad again. But so far in the non-padded practices, he has been running with the third team. I've only watched him specifically on a couple plays. Kamoko Ture got the better of him on one play. But we'll see. We'll see how he does tomorrow. I'm definitely going to keep my eye. I'm going to be watching the O-line tomorrow. So since it's going to be first day of pads, I'm going to come away from practice with a solid report on Burford, Banks, Brendel, Brunskill, McGlinchey, Trent, Colton, Jalen Moore, Sutherland, Poe, all the guys. I'm watching O-line tomorrow. So if you want to know how the 49ers offensive line did in the first day of padded practice, this is the channel that you want to tune into because that is what I'm going to be watching tomorrow. There is a lot of movement happening on that offensive line. They have Brunskill and Brendel splitting reps at center. You have rookie Spencer Burford starting at right guard. You have Aaron Banks, who's essentially a rookie when it comes to playing time, at left guard. You got guys like Jalen Moore and Colton McKivitz rotating in with Trent Williams and McGlinchey. So I'm going to be evaluating offensive line tomorrow. Now we're going to watch everything else, of course, but I'm going to be zoned in on offensive line tomorrow and seeing who is performing and who's breaking away to be the starter over there. Really, and that's what I'm very excited about. Really, really looking forward to seeing the pads come on and seeing how the offensive line reacts now to the defensive line that has been really freaking good. Chris Peel says, "You think Deebo or Ayuk is the wide receiver this year?" I really think that with Trey Lance, he's going to have the ability to spread the football around. But don't discount Deebo and what his impact could be to the offense. Like, again, I think Debo's going to be hungrier than ever. I think he's going to be ready to go. So Debo's going to be active. And they're working a lot of over the middle type routes. Again, you watch the offense last year and how they were successful. They were pretty damn good at throwing over the middle, and I can guarantee you they still want to do that. Now, Trey again offers the ability to throw towards the sidelines. Again, that's one of the best things that I've seen from Trey is that he will challenge guys towards the sideline. Now, with Jimmy Garoppolo last year, we saw it in instances, but with Trey, you see Trey having more of a like it's more normal for him to throw outside the numbers. It's more he feels like it's just a part of his game because I think based on his particular skill set right now, he can push the ball downfield. So we're seeing him push it towards the numbers. We're seeing him throw back shoulders to George Kittle down the left sideline. We're seeing all kinds of stuff. So I think Deebo and Ayuk are in store for a big year. And especially if you get Deebo now, like we can now talk about it. Deebo is going to be on the field. And so with Deebo being on the field with George Kittle and these other guys, those guys are going to take up a lot of attention. So Brandon Ayuk could be getting a lot of one-on-one coverage on the backside. Like if you have Deebo on the field, if you have George Kittle on the field, and they're trying to bracket safeties over Deebo and over Kittle to ensure that those guys aren't beating you, Brandon Ayuk could for that reason alone be seeing a lot of one-on-one opportunities on the outside, and he's fast enough to whoop these cornerbacks in any route tree that is asked of him. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm so what's the over under on how many beers Aponte's having at the Yard House yesterday? We almost went to the Yard House yesterday. We almost did. Almost went to the Yard House, but we were tipped off on some insider information not to go to Yard House, so we ended up not going to Yard House yesterday. But Aponte was really trying to get us there. He was really trying to get us to to there, but we said nah. We said nah. Let's see. How's George Odom looking? I'm looking forward to kind of the trio of safeties. George Odom, I think when the pads come on, I think we're going to see a little bit more. We're going to see a little bit more out of George Odom. George Odom seems to be pretty aggressive back there, even with no pads. Like he's been challenging Brandon Ayuk at the catch point. He goes after the football when it's in the air. I think George Odom is going to be a guy that's probably going to stand out a little bit more once pads come on. And I really do see an opportunity where we see a lot from not only Talanoa Hufanga and Jimmy Ward, but we see some George Odom out there as well. So he looks pretty good. He looked pretty good. Let's see here. How good is our offensive line? We're going to find out tomorrow. Pats come on. We're going to find out tomorrow how good our offensive line is. We're at least going to get a better glimpse of how good they are. Danny Gray got to get his hands right. Too many body catches. He had a really nice catch. He had a really nice catch yesterday in practice. It was a ball that was thrown in front of him, so he had to overextend. He was able to like get his hands on it, kind of bobbled it, but then re-caught it. It's really nice catch. So far from Danny, he's proven that I think he can be a legitimate piece in this offense. He's shown on multiple occasions that he can stretch the defense deep. And if these teams are willing to if these quarterbacks are willing to throw at him and give it an opportunity, I think he has an opportunity to make an impact as a rookie. So I'm looking forward to that. Definitely looking forward to that. Let's see here. Scroll down, see if we have any other comments. Oh yeah, Danny Gray's absolutely making the team. He's 100% making the team. I will have a much better report for you on Aaron Banks tomorrow. Aaron Banks has looked good for what it's worth. But again, no pads. So I take all of that with a grain of salt. Once the pads come on, we're gonna have a real opportunity to talk about offensive line versus defensive line, who's looking good, who needs to get a little bit better, all that type of stuff. So I'll stay tuned tomorrow. We're gonna have all the O-line reports right here. That's gonna be the number one thing I'm looking at. Davin Hyena says 230 plus likes on YouTube. Let's go. I don't know. I bet we could get to 250. I bet we could get to 250 before this thing's over. That's a challenge to the SDS. Can Burford be solid? Burford looks solid so far. Burford looks solid. Someone said, see if Banks can block Kinlaw. Hey, one of my favorite plays at training camp yesterday was Kinlaw collapsing the pocket on Aaron Banks, forced Trey Lance up into the pocket. Drake Jackson was right there, would have had a sack. But again, need those pads. Once those pads come on, we'll have a real good opportunity to really pay attention to the offensive line and see how these guys work. Again, I always talk about defensive line is always going to have an advantage against offensive line and non-padded practices. So tomorrow, the stage is even, and we'll really have a good opportunity to evaluate the O-line because they'll be able to get their hands on these guys, be able to grab down a little bit better. So definitely looking forward to that. And so far, Burford's looked good. I haven't seen anything to indicate that he doesn't belong. But again, once pads come on, we're going to see how that offensive line is really coming together. I'm looking forward to it. Brad, what days are you going to training camp this week? Any day that they will allow me. So I will be at training camp every day that they will allow me. They're going to have to kick me out at a certain point. But I will be at training camp tomorrow, I believe Tuesday, Wednesday. I think they take a break on Thursday. I'm not sure, but I'll be there at all those days. All those days. Appreciate you, Jason, says Brad. Really enjoying the stream. Appreciate you for hopping on, my guy. Draco says Denard, the starting nickel. We'll see. He's been the starting nickel, but yesterday in install period for the defense, you had Dante Johnson kind of rotating in. He was definitely in there with the starters on defensive install. Again, I've been like heavily focused on the offense as of late, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to start paying attention to this defense here coming up pretty quick. Will Jimmy Garoppolo eventually get traded? Don't know. Harris says, when's Jason Verrett coming back? I don't know, but I hope he's coming back soon. The 49ers could absolutely use Jason Verrett for sure. Sunday streams with the immaculate vibes. Fun day Sunday with the SDS. Did we get to 250? Damn, we got to 250 quick. Shout out to SDS, baby. Let's go. And guess what? Guess what? I'm ready. Can we get to practice? Can I go set up a tent outside of practice tomorrow? And can I just wait? Can I wait for it to go down? I hope so. I hope so. Because I'm ready to go. But let's see here. I think it's time. I think it's time that our Sunday fun day streams comes to an end. And we get ready for training camp tomorrow. Got to wake up bright and early, drive to Santa Clara to hopefully go see Deebo Samuel and the San Francisco 49ers put on pads, baby. I can't stress enough how excited I am for tomorrow. I cannot stress how excited I am that pads come on tomorrow. Deebo Samuel is paid, and we get to see offense versus defense with pads, with Deebo Samuel. Woo! It's going to be a lot of fun. Shout out to my guys on Instagram. Shout out to everyone who is watching over here on Facebook and YouTube. Again, if you missed it, Deebo Samuel got paid. Pads come on tomorrow, and the training camp updates are going to be lit. So this is how it works. You want to get some video updates? Follow the SF Niners on IG and Twitter. You want to get play-by-play breakdowns? You can follow me on my personal at Graham_SFN. And you already know we're going up with lives with all the evaluations from everything that we saw from training camp tomorrow. So be on the lookout because it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Hi, my guy. But I'm looking forward to it because there's going to be a lot to watch. Like I said, I think the playing field gets leveled with the pads coming on. I think Deebo Samuel is going to bring a little bit extra juice to that offense, and really looking forward to seeing after the first 4 days of non-padded practice where defense was getting great looks on the offense. All right, well, pads are on. Hopefully Deebo's back and we get this thing rocking. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you're tapped in, locked in, ready to go. Appreciate all the SDS. Appreciate everyone who continues to support the page, support the channel. We appreciate you all. Someone's saying, where can you get the hat? I got you. Go to residency.com. Use the promo code TheSF9ers. Get you a little discount on your order. You already know the vibes. And guess what? We will be back tomorrow. I think word on the streets is Residency got a little drop coming this week. So Residency might be dropping a new hat on Friday. So stay tuned for that. We'll have some more good stuff. But again, appreciate everyone for tapping in. Deebo Samuel got paid. We got pads tomorrow. We're going up. I hope everyone has a phenomenal rest of your Sunday, and look forward to a fun-filled day of 49ers football tomorrow. I'll see you guys on the other side. Appreciate you all. We're out of here. Make sure you smash that like button on your way out. Appreciate it.